All right, welcome in YouTube. This is Juicy. Uh, got myself a very special guest here. We got the Game Father, the best man in CC, or the favorite person to at least watch, and that is Mobile Gamer.
How's it going? You're the best, man. You're the pound for pound, one of the best. You're the best assist player of Crucible that I know per pound because we have a similar collection power. Like my collection power is a little better, a little bigger than yours, bigger than yours. But you go up against these
Yeah,
120, 130, 80 million punch ups. My goodness, I had one 60 million punch up or something almost, and you it sounds like you get that every day. I mean, yeah, look at that. Oh my god, you're at 64 million, and then they're all like, what's the top guy there? What's Dean? Oh my god,
120.
127. So there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're doing it, man. And but I feel like collection power in a lot of ways is a bad number, but it's the only number we have, right? You know what I'm talking about, like that. I wish there was like a number where it measured your top 100 characters or something rather
Yeah.
than your entire roster. I mean, does your collection power really matter what your minions are at? Or hopefully they're at next to nothing, right?
Yeah, there should definitely be at this point a like efficient what is it? What do they call it? Like effective TCP or
Yeah,
newest, maybe like newest 100 character TCP, something like that, or call it effective TCP or newest, TCP, top 100 tunes. After that, it's all kind of fluff. Mainly because like if you look at the defenses, right, um, you're using a lot of the same teams. There's only 6 rooms. There's only 6 offenses, and so you really don't get to use a whole lot unless things are going horribly wrong that you're going to
right,
start pulling into team 13, team 14, team 15. When you get that far down, it usually means that your CC is going pretty bad, you know?
right. And I also think that these room bonuses right here don't facilitate bringing a 13, 14, 15 team up into defense. Like it didn't the room bonuses are not prescriptive. I think room 4 is interesting, but room 2 I think is a good example. You Most people were probably using Darkhold on defense last season, right? We'll put them into room 2. I mean, it's like not that hard, right? You just move them around to where, and then you're using Gambit somewhere, last season, maybe in room 5, move them to room 1, right? I mean, and you're done, right? I don't think people need to like redo their teams, with the exception, I think Captain America is important, right? Should we probably, whatever you want to talk about first, but Captain America is a big deal, but
Yeah.
a lot of it's the same teams, right?
Yep, definitely. Let's just, instead of jumping ahead, let's just start room by room, just kind of giving a quick overview of who's using, why is he there, and then, who else could you put there in his place. Room 1 is just Raiders and Skirmisher get damage if they're low. Um, the best tune that takes advantage of this is everyone is going to say it's Gambit. Gambit's the most dangerous tune to use. And there's not a whole lot of other tunes, right? Because once you get that low, they're likely going to be dying, in my opinion. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think mostly this room's about Gambit, and so the choice is: are you going to use unlimited Gambit, or are you going to use extreme with Gambit? So I do think the extreme team is better. There's another situation where you could use two teams. You could put extreme in room 6, which you're going to showcase here in a minute. But a lot of people are going to put extreme in room 1 with Gambit. I think that's going to be great. Maybe even extreme with Rogue, right? Or extreme with Bishop, or there's a couple different combos, and we're also anticipating some sort of X-Men rework, and this will all change if that does happen, right? We have to see.
Oh, yeah. And definitely, you know, the only people that you should condense. So, one thing I'm asked constantly, just you reminded me of, is should I condense my X Men to one team or to 2 teams? I think that if you're playing a very offensive minded CC, to get value, you want to split them. If you're going to be playing more Turtle, where you have like Sus on defense, Superior 6 on defense, you're going to want to probably condense it down to one room, right? Because you're wanting mega teams, you're not wanting efficient teams, right? My goal is efficiency, right? I tell people this all the time. you don't beat you don't win a 60 million punch up on your defense. You win a 60 million punch up by being perfect on all six of your attacks and hoping they drop one or that their game crashes. Jokingly, you know, that's just
I mean, it's an offensive meta right now, and that's why Infinity Watch continues to be on defense because it just takes a lot of turns to beat Infinity Watch, and same thing with Gamma. I mean, I'm pretty sure that most of us have reasonable counters to those teams, and we're confident that we're going to win them. But how many attacks? How many? That's all about efficiency at this point.
mm-hmm. Yep. Especially because right now the Crucible teams that they've released, two of them, almost three of them, have offensive callouts only, so that's forcing an offensive meta, right? Superior Six is the first one that you can flex. The other two you can't. Masters of Evils and New Warriors are useless on defense, so they have to be used on offense. That gives value. Getting into the second room, we got ourselves Mystic Healthcare. Uh, it's a very unique room, but or I wasn't impressed by this room personally. I think there's only Darkhold, and then I think Out of Time was designed to be here, but I don't think Out of Time is going to end up being in this room. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the choices are on this room is I think that 80% of the players are going to run Darkhold in defense, and I think the only variation is going to be whether or not they put Quicksilver or Scarlet Witch or Loki there. Now, Loki gives turn meter to Morgan Le Fay, which might make it a little bit more disruptive, but I feel like we've played against this team over and over again, and we know how to beat this team, but it's efficiency, right?
Yeah, it just if you see a Loki there, you put Emma on your team, and then it doesn't change a single thing with Tangle Web. You know, that's just but it's just Darkhold is in my opinion, the fifth defensive team right now, maybe sixth. So you're seeing them pushed out again, season or two later. Probably won't have them on defense at all, um, and they'll probably
I
be
mean,
used.
if I mean, other Mystic teams, could be like Tangled, but I think they're better on offense. And then you've got Undying, which seems like a mistake to put them on defense because if you put Undying on defense, then Hive Mind can just run over it. So, we've been using Darkhold, so just use Darkhold. I feel like these two rooms are the first two rooms that we've covered are probably the easiest two. It's like something with Gambit and then Darkhold in room two, right? That's kind of the general suggestions right here.
Oh yeah. Next room up is going to be When It Rains. I think this is the first of the brick wall rooms. I think there's two major ones, three and four, as I've said in four of my previous videos. And so I think prolonging positive effects um, to a maximum of three can be very rough and also extending negative effects. And so I think you're mainly going to see two teams in here, mainly Superior Six and Affinity Watch, because they both spawn with Safeguard immunity or Safeguard and defense up and all that other stuff. Your thoughts on that?
Mhm. Well, yeah, it's going to come down to like you mentioned earlier in the video whether or not how defensively minded you're going to go. Turtley would be Superior Six, right? And I think you could also put Superior Six in five if you wanted to, right? That's another choice, which we're going to come up to here in a minute. But I feel like Infinity Watch is just really easy. I think 80% of the people we're currently running Infinity Watch. Now, there is a potential to remove Moondragon and put in Quicksilver if you wanted, but I don't know. I mean, I that did help me last season. That was just suggestion from you, and I
Mm-hmm.
was able to win 2 rounds specifically because of Quicksilver Infinity Watch, where people just underestimated the power of Quicksilver.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great option because Quicksilver loads himself up with buffs, and also we're in this crunch right now, right? If you're going up from 95 to 100, we're bringing up a lot of tunes, and you don't really want to build IWAT. I mean, this is a good defense, and if you care about Crucible, you want to build them up. Most people have already built the Quicksilver up super high, but they probably haven't taken their Moondragon that high, and
Right.
you can cut costs by not building up Moondragon higher, and because that's an easy swap out. I think they're going to perform similarly, and again, save yourself some teal gear, save yourself some training mats, because if you're like me, you're running a little low on those things, trying to push all the your current teams to the next level. And also, I think just speaking out of this, the value you get out of iWatch in 3 is the fact that it just takes a bigger team. They're gonna it's forcing like a Masters of Evil. Last season you saw Masters of Evil going into this a lot. Um, when this room was ran, and I think that's a great value, right? Masters of Evil is a great team. You want it in so many other places, not against your iWatch, and so I think that putting that there is a big win if you're somebody playing offensive minded. Um, Next room up is gonna be room 4. It is probably
Yeah.
the scariest one, right? This is the one where if somebody dies, right, so they all gain energy,
Hmm.
um, and ultimate abilities cost 3 more, right?
Yep.
So um, I think this is going to be superior 6 land. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so
Or
there's a couple good. I think this is going to be like the room one of last season in that it's going to be the most variance of teams that we see. Every time we go into battle, like everybody might have a different room four, right? Room four is probably going to be the most important room. Super Scroll is going to be beyond scary in this room. Absolutely. And getting kills gives ability energy. Then there's also when a character gains energy from an active ability, they gain +1 extra energy. I'm thinking that people are going to overcompensate for that and put bad characters or bad teams in this room when they didn't need to. One exception to that, I think, is going to be Captain America. And the reason for that is Captain America is going to start off with the special because Ultimates cost 3 more, right? And the other thing too, then he'll be giving out energy to the rest of the team there. And he got a 41% health increase. And you probably already have this guy built up, right? So this is not a Shuri. This is not even a Captain Sam Wilson. This is a different league of character with this rework because Captain America got reworked for the out of time team. This just went live on last week on Wednesday, right? So this is something I think a lot of people didn't even notice that Captain America's health pool went up 41%. And so I feel like that is going to be like the sleeper in this room is using Captain America with a team that is super potent and super fast. Secret defenders run circles around other teams, right? They're so fast and they do so much damage, and that's going to be scary.
yeah,
Getting the kills and Captain America. I mean, or putting Super Scroll with Captain America. I mean, you could take out Photon and put in Super Scroll right here, and that would be even a bigger mess potentially, right?
oh yeah, you're gonna see a lot of Super Skull teams that are hybrids. Because all you need is a Preton and Super Scroll, and he's gonna be annoying. One thing you didn't mention about Captain America is he actually gives deflects to the entire team, so you have even you have to chew through those couple of deflects too. He's just a good. Again, everyone hasn't built. If you're at this level, right, you've probably been using him for raids. He went from having 2 million health to having 2.6 million health for me. That's a brick wall. That means he has more health than everyone else
Yep.
on this team. Even I
Yep.
think Hardlight. And so some other good options just so that we see that. I think OG Strange fits in here pretty well. I've been asked about JJ. I think JJ's health pool is just too small. I think
Yep.
she has so comparison. JJ only has like 700. Jessica Jones, sorry for those that are
Yeah.
just to clarify, she only has like 700k
No,
health.
but this is what I'm talking about. The trap to this room is people are going to read this when a character gains energy from an activity, it gains +1 energy, and they're going to say, "Oh, I'm going to use Star Lord, or I'm going to use just no, no, no. Those are not good characters." Captain America, yes, probably most of those other characters that give out an energy, the Shuris, you know what I'm talking about, right? I don't
Yeah,
think that's a good idea, other than Captain America.
yeah, because again, if they die, then you just gave everyone health. And you're coming in here trying to beat secret defenders, probably the second best or the best um, defense in the game in CC right now. You're going to bring in some firepower, and a tune like JJ is literally just gonna disappear on the first round, right? She's not gonna do anything. She's literally just gonna vanish as the fight goes on. Because in order to kill a 3 diamond Robbie, you're coming in there with Superior 6 or in my case I'm probably using APOC and um, Super Scroll to kill this team, right? They're just going to obliterate her off the map before she even moves. Because I'm dealing with the other four. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
All right. Next room we got is Gamma. Or sorry, we have this room right here, which is tech characters that use their ultimate ability revive another tech character at 100. I think if either one of these had that tech section removed, it would be a lot better. But what are your thoughts about it? Looking at that.
All right, so I feel like the initial thoughts on when I first saw this room is like, oh, I can put superior six. I think when you saw my first round of defense, I had superior six there, and we talked about this at length on stream the other day about how Pegasus just gets walked over, with some sort of Eternals team, right? It's in massive punch ups and high efficiency, right? Like I feel like Pegasus is not a good defensive team from an efficiency standpoint. And Superior Six might be too much of a commitment. Like, if you want to have the offense and you want to have the firepower, you want Superior Six on offense. If you can, I mean, I imagine like super, super large collection power. They could probably afford to put something like Superior Six on defense. For me, your suggestion, this room doesn't matter. After reading the rules and thinking about it, it just, having the ability to revive a tech character when they use an ultimate, you're losing when that's happening, right? If you've already lost a character, you've probably already lost, and to start reviving and then recover is not really a good plan necessarily. Does that make? I mean,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Just so that if you are, and yeah, and I've been asked. Some people are really, really strong on trying to bring Pegasus in here. If you're gonna do that, at least drop Ironheart for Dorm or Doom. Give yourself a fighting chance. That's my only advice for you. I don't think that's a good option. I think that you can use those tools better elsewhere. But if you want a way to make Pegasus viable, you can toss in there Doom or just to add that extra RNG. So if people really wanted to take advantage of this room, that's what you can do. I'm not doing that, but
Yeah,
people have been asking me. There you go.
I mean, Dormammu with Pegasus might be okay, right? And, like you just said, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I mean, all they're gonna do is say, "Well, I'm gonna use my new warriors over it." Now you've upgraded me
Right.
to using new warriors on this. Whereas in general, new warriors is really gonna struggle to have a home this season, because you're not gonna use them in one safely. You could do it.
Hmm.
It's not a good idea. Two, I guess. So many mystics. Loki there kind of stops it, right? Because now MLF goes in between Firestar and Cloak, so that's one of the reasons why Loki's there. You're not gonna do it in three. They have spawn with safeguard. You're definitely not doing it in four. That's just death. And then six, getting into that would be so right. You're just gonna use them on Gamma. That's gonna lock it in. I'm basically giving you something to use your new warriors on. And then this room, right? So basically, on turn, you remove all your positive health, uh, positive effects to self, and then heal for 10%. What are your thoughts on this room? What do you think you could toss in here?
Infinity Watch seems to be pretty good right there because they're not going to lose the positive effects because of the safeguard. At least, so that seems pretty good. I guess you could put Superior Six there too if you really wanted to. Like, that might be the best team to put in there. I mean, and if you really wanted to, I mean, you've got this team right here. Now, this team here is a little bit interesting. Explain what you're thinking there with Dormammu and with Forge. This is kind of interesting, right?
Yeah. So the idea is that the main counter they want to bring into this is going to be Masters of Evil, and you're taking away the Kang ultimate with the offense up because he loses it in this room because of this counter. So it's going to squeeze down the potential, and also what they did, and this is just a good public service announcement on is they switched the revive removal to being attacked. So no longer can you go in there with Superior Six and just remove all their revives using your text. You have to let them hit you. That's nowhere near as good, right? Part of the reason that
Right.
counter worked is because they never got a turn. You were coming in there and just blowing them out of the water.
Yeah, so I would say I want to say that again, or I want to repeat, echo what you just said because I did not get this when I read it. I thought this was just like the same as the season before. It is the opposite of last season. Like, so if I attacked this room with Superior Six and or Lizard, right? It does not work like last season at all, right? You attack when you finally take a turn and attack me, you're that they're removed. That's when the revive gets removed at that point. So it's not like Lizard goes first and gets rid of all the revives. It does not work that way at all. Spider Slayer special removing all the revives did not work that way at all. It's the other way around. It's got to read it very carefully.
Yeah, and I think that's going to cause some problems, right? Because once you're starting to let the X-Men go themselves, they're going to start picking off your members, so it's not as good of a trade-off. Because they hit
I
hard.
think I think I would still try to use Masters of Evil against this team, but none of the positive effects are going to stick. Specifically, like all the ones that the Ultron bots. I mean, you're probably going to sub out Ultron, but this is probably going to take like a Masters of Evil apocalypse to get through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking it's going to take like Masters of Evil, APOC, if you don't need them in 4, um, which depending if you see Super Scroll in there or not, right? You're going to see a lot of people who are going to put Super Scroll in 4, and you're going to need either your own Super Scroll or you're going to be multi-tapping it. I think it's going to be really rough when you both sides are putting Super Scroll on defense. By the way, have fun with that. I'm not getting part of. I'm not going to have that fun. I'm not going to have that rage. Um,
Right?
and what are your thoughts on the last little bit before we kind of wrap this up? What are your thoughts about the
This
symbiote thing?
Yeah, so I'm my hope for this is that I'm going to be able to use Hive Mind on offense with some of the Sinister Six. There's a lot of really good Sinister Six out there, Mysterio, Vulture, so on. And then you can get all the drains to work and all that stuff. I'm really curious to see how this works. This is kind of where I feel like we have some idea how it's going to work, but this is going to manifest in so many tricky teams that we didn't predict. And, we're trying to guess right now what's going to happen in the first week. And we may have an entire different plan by the time it comes to week
Yeah.
2, solely because of this bonus right here. It's going to make it very unpredictable.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Scopely from designing this. It definitely
Hmm.
adds flavor. I think this is the biggest win for them. If they could do even 2 teams like this, where they mix in their traits, you know, Bionic Avengers worked like Pegasus, or blah blah blah, something like that. Do that more often. That we can mix and match and make stuff out of it and get use out of it. I think that's great
Yeah.
for this season. And just like you said, just a segue on that, if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to both our videos.
Woof.
If you're wanting to make sure that if you want to see how to counter these teams or how not to counter these teams, you can come watch us or any of your other favorite content creators. Right, you're gonna see us hit our head against these same defenses. We're either gonna clear them or we're not. And also, there will be in description the counter sheet that me and Squashdoodle have helped curated. So if you need some advice on a team that's not on this list, we'll update it as fast as he updates it as quickly as he can. That helps people a ton. So that will be in the description. Make sure to use that spreadsheet. Anything else for us, Boomer, before we go?
If the biggest takeaway is if you want to save yourself some time and some headache, just leave your defenses alone and push the arrows and get the teams into the right rooms. Make sure you got Gambit in room 1, make sure you have Darkhold in room 2, and so on. And probably that's the best thing that someone can do if they don't have a lot of time. Just move your old teams from last season to the correct rooms, and after a couple days we'll know better what's more optimal anyways.
That sounds like a great plan. Hope that saves y'all a ton of time. Later, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.